My name is Mike Nierychlo, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. So today, we're at Vancouver's Conference Centre, hanging out with some of the veterans of the BC wine industry and celebrating 20 years of VQA winemaking awesomeness.
I was the founder of Sumac Ridge Estate Winery. 20 years ago, we were struggling for identity. Today, we've been discovered, and that's all been very, very important to me over the time, the 20 years. 20 years ago, when we launched VQA, we had 14 wineries. Then we were down to less than 1,000 acres of grapes. Today we have over 10,000 acres of grapes under cultivation. This year, about 200 wineries will make wine in British Columbia, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunity for success for people to pursue their dreams, as I've done in the wine industry in British Columbia in the future. Things just look like they're going to be better and bigger and more prosperous, and great wines. So, cheers.
I moved out to BC after college, so probably 90, 91 in there. Wasn't really drinking wine too much at the time, but when I did get into it was mid-90s. And actually, it was a real learning experience for BC wine. I started drinking wine from the Okanagan because we would travel up there, we'd go visit the wineries, the classic Geringer Brothers, Grey Monk, Sumac Ridge, of course, which I have in my glass right now, of course, Sumac Ridge. And then a few years later I moved to Ontario. So what happened between the time of that first learning experience in BC was I was growing with the wines, watching them grow, and the whites were fantastic. Moved to Ontario, to Toronto, got to know a little bit about the Ontario wine industry, and found that when I moved back 5 years later, the BC wine industry had just bloomed in that amount of time. So I would say from about 1999 to 2004 when I was away, the BC wine industry just took off. And all the reds were made fantastic. There were so many more wineries, so it was a real shock to come back and see really how much better they'd become.
Hi, my name is Trudy Heiss, and I'm co-owner with my husband George and Grey Monk Estate Winery. We were one of the original founders of VQA, so we really believed that that was the way that this industry was going to go forward. And we're still 100% VQA producing, and we felt that if we wanted to play with the rest of the world, in the wine world, we needed to have the right varieties and the right quality standards, and it certainly has come a long way.
My name's John Symes. I'm Chief Winemaker at Mission Hill Family Estate. Well, it's been my life. I came here in '92, so I've been here, this is my 19th harvest, and I've spent all of it at Mission Hill. It was a very small family-owned operation when I came here. We're still family-owned, we're a lot bigger now, we've got a lot of our own vineyards. We've come 1,000,000 miles, and I've been part of helping it grow and plant the vineyards and turn the winery into something really special. So it's been a huge part of my life and the life of my family as well.
Gordon Fitzpatrick, president of Cedar Creek Estate Winery. Well, really the fulfillment of my dad's dream. I mean, here was a guy who grew up in Oliver and born and raised in the Okanagan, and he believed when he first got into it that we could make, at that time he wanted to do a world-class Chardonnay. So now here we are 20 years later, not only making world-class Chardonnays, but Pinot Noirs, Merlots, Bordeaux blends. I mean, it's been a hell of a ride, but very rewarding.
Hey, I'm Tony Stewart, one of the proprietors of Quailsgate Winery. Well, the introduction of VQA to the industry and specifically to our company meant that everybody started working together on a program that was designed to make better wines, to work harder at developing a true identity for British Columbia wines. And I think that the last 20 years have proven that consumers today walk into a store and they know that BC VQA means 100% BC product.
I'm Walter Geringer from Geringer Brothers Estate Winery. We're from Oliver in the south end of the valley, on the Golden Mile Bench, for those people that aren't familiar with that area. I think it's been an interesting ride, and it's a recognition of a brand of quality and that we've been able to maintain and improve that level of quality over those years. We have a variety here that we're pouring, it's called Auxerrois, and it'll stand up those 20 years almost in age, which means two things we're trying to portray is we are a quality wine region, but if you can pull old wines out that still portray that quality in the glass, it supports that we are a wine grape growing region. And I think if anything else, that's the special moment of realization that we are here today in this room sampling all these old wines.
I'm Roland Kruger. I'm the owner, general manager of Wild Goose Vineyards and Winery in Okanagan Falls. Well, back when we started out as a winery, farm gate wineries at the time actually had to have their wines VQA approved before we could actually sell them. So we were under a lot of pressure back then to make sure that we get our wines, VQA approved. And now that the legislation changed after a few years, and then the VQA became voluntary. But for ourselves, producing VQA wines has always been very, very important, because when we submit our wines, to the VQA tasting panel, it's the first opportunity that our wines are tasted by, by a panel of professional people, and we very highly value the results that we get back from those tastings, and we're very excited to say that over the 20 years, our wines have done extremely well at VQA tastings, and it's been just an unbelievable marketing tool as well. People say, well, what's the best part of VQA? Well, when you buy VQA wine and you see the logo, you know you are buying 100% British Columbian. And we're huge supporters of Buy BC and Canadian, and that's with a little bit of confusion sometimes with labeling and whatnot. If you buy VQA, you're supporting 100% BC.
Okay, my name is Howard Soon. I'm the winemaker for Sandhill, but previously I was the winemaker for Kelowna, which is still part of the same winery. It was interesting because Harry is reflecting on how tough it was in the old days to build up VQA from 1989, 1990. And I was part of those original panels that tasted the wines that this will meet VQA specification, this won't. There's a bar, you have to be good or not good, right? And I remember about at least a third to a half of the wines that came into the panel at the beginning, reject. And sometimes they were our own wines, but they were that poor. But as we got better at it, and we started to actually give tips to the other winemakers, because we didn't know whose wine it was. Margie would say to us, what do you recommend we do about that? And so we'd say, we'll write in the comment, well, maybe reblend it, get the acid out, or whatever. And those people, I think, made better wines because they got those comments. And now we got way better wines. Now everything pretty much passes the first time, which is great. But what my thought was when Harry was talking about VQA is that, I should have said, Harry, thank you very much, because if you guys hadn't done that, I wouldn't have a job. Because that's the hard stuff. The easy part for me was I just focus on making good wine, trying to make it better and better every year. And I think our wines are better today, 20 years later, than they were on year one. Harry, he had to do all the other stuff, fighting the government, marketing his own wines, selling wines, forming industry groups and stuff like the Okanagan Wine Festival. He gave birth to that too. Things like that. Incredible what he's done. So for me, yeah, that's what VQA remembers. It rolls through your mind all those memories about how tough it was in those days. And say somebody new said, I want to get in the wine business, or I want to build a winery, I got lots of money here. They have no idea how tough it was in those days compared to today. But now BC wines, like you go to a restaurant, hey, I'm a new BC winery, want to buy a wine? Sure, let's sit down and try it. In the old days, they'd throw you out of the restaurant. We're lucky. We're very fortunate with what we have today. And that's what I've always said to our young winemakers. You have no idea how bad it was in the old days and how tough it was. We're very lucky with what we have today. Every time someone buys our wine, we should be very thankful.
So my name is Eric von Krossick, and I'm the winemaker at Summerhill Estate Winery. So the last 20 years of VQA has meant us building a brand that nobody else could take away from us. So with VQA, you get the guarantee that the grapes are 100% BC, and there's so many other people trying to say they're Canadian or trying to say they're BC, but they're not. And VQA, unless you actually know the person and have walked on that vineyard, that's really your only assurance that what you're getting is 100% BC. Where I studied years ago, I studied in Germany, studied on the Mosel, was all over the world. But they had a great saying on the Mosel, and they said, if you ever want to get two vintners under one hat, you have to kill one of them. So, and that's pretty much the way it is here. It's the most independent lot of people you'll ever meet. And the VQA did an amazing thing in getting them all under one hat and getting them all more or less pulling on the same rope in the same direction. So it's been great. I have to say, after it's 20 years, we've come a long way. Because we can produce amazing grapes here that have amazing flavors that hold their own on the world stage, and we get great medals all over the world and get recognized for how beautiful the wines and how beautiful the expression is of the fruit of the terroir of BC. And that's all based on, a sense of place and a sense of time and putting the right grapes in the right site and showing that to the world, right? Because what's grown in the Okanagan is great Okanagan wine.